your network. You will not show it anyhow. And the fact that we are killing civilians, what is the alternative? That we will not kill any civilian and we cannot fight Hamas because Hamas is fighting from behind the civilians. So the alternative not to kill civilians, the practical meaning of it is not to kill Hamas.
No, you can still take out Hamas without killing thousands and thousands of citizens.
Let Hamas to rule the Gaza Strip after this declaration of war and atrocities and primitive and barbarian action which was done by Hamas. And you tell me, General, because they are hiding so nicely behind civilians and you cannot kill civilians, so they will be immune. We are not buying the logic and we will continue to destroy.
Well, nobody's buying your logic of it's okay to kill civilians just because they're being used as human shields.
Hamas, and if the payment will be paid by the civilians of Gaza, they can apply to Hamas. Hamas is there. Hamas was elected by them, and they can apply to Hamas and ask.
Okay, like there's a large majority of the Palestinian population that are under the age of 18. Those people did not vote.
Hamas to fight to stop the war. By the way, if they surrender, immediately we will not kill any civilian.
44%, a little more than 44% of the Palestinian people voted for Hamas. As a plurality in 2006. About half of the Palestinian population right now is under 18, meaning that most people in Gaza absolutely did not vote for Hamas. That's also just factually incorrect.
Yeah, the Israeli government and their spokespeople do nothing but lie, and it's obvious that they're lying because you can just check the facts, prove them wrong.
Your vision of security rests upon a military strategy that, as you've just described, will inevitably kill citizens, civilians, and will lead to the destruction of more monuments, more cultural sites, more parts of civil society. If all of this happened...
He's actually talking about a genocide of the Palestinians. In order to kill out Hamas, you got to kill off all the Palestinians. He's advocating for it and justifying it, and he is pretty okay with it.
Do you not worry that it will only foment more resistance, more violence, more people who have antipathy towards the Israeli government? I mean, there are security and terrorism experts who actually caution this. They say that Israel's widespread killing of Palestinian civilians increases the risk of violent attacks against Israelis. How do you respond to these warnings that what you're doing, that Israel's bombardment of Gaza will actually make Israel less secure?
I see that.
Well, yeah, when you kill a bunch of innocent people, other people are going to be mad about their family members and their friends dying. So they will want to be against that government.
You don't remember the situation before the 7th of October. Before the 7th of October, there was a ceasefire. Israel didn't attack Gaza. Israel gave many people from Gaza to come to work in Israel. Israel gave economic help to go into Gaza.
Not many people, but sure.
A minute, you don't let me to answer.
He's just going to try to use October 7th as a justification for the deaths of innocent people.
But I can't allow you to say things that aren't true. Less than 1% of the Gazan population had work permits. What was the number of Gazans who could work in Israel?
I'll give you the number, 18,000 people.
Right, there are 2.2 million.
Wow, yeah, 18,000 out of 2.2 million. That's nothing. And it's funny how the fact that Palestinians can't work in Israel anymore, since there's a restriction, the construction for the Israeli nation is at a standstill.
People in Gaza, that's not a large number. Most people in Gaza cannot leave or cannot enter or leave.
Did I say huge? I never said huge percentage. I said Israel tried to help to promote the economy of Gaza
by letting 0.001% of people come in. Okay, go ahead. Please finish.
Yeah, it's hilarious how this dude is just saying a bunch of BS, and it's obvious BS. He's being called out. and he has nothing else to say about it when he gets called out about it because it's obvious BS.
Did you finish the statistics, which is not true?
What's the
Because
what's
children are not going to work in Israel. Women are not going to work in Israel. The only man after the age of 24 or 30. So with all due respect to your statistic, please correct your statistic before you mention numbers.
I didn't.
Do not have any.
So is he trying to say like in Gaza there's only like 18,000 men that can work somewhere else? If that's the case, then that's going to be because of the amount of disabled people because of Israeli airstrikes.
Connection to the reality. But let me answer. You
But
stop me again and again.
that's fine
from
because
answering
you've once
the
again said
question.
respectfully, sir. You've once again said something that's untrue factually. But I'll allow you to continue.
No, what is true? I didn't say it's a high percentage. I say 18,000 people from Gaza went out every day to work in Israel. This is a number. If it's
Yeah, obviously it's a number, duh. Like, yeah, it's 18,000 people. But the dude is saying that's just a minuscule amount of people compared to the population of Gaza.
you say that it is too little, maybe. Should we give more people to work in Israel without the atrocities and the violation of the ceasefire by Hamas? Probably today we had with 25,000. I don't know.
Oh, wow. 18,000 from 18,000 to 25,000. That's a large jump for him. Wow. It's crazy how the Israeli government believes in collective punishment. They're wanting to punish all the other Palestinians because of the actions of Hamas.
Probably, because that was the intention of Israel, to give more workers to go out of Gaza and to work in Israel. And we gave all the permission to Qatar and other countries to bring money to Gaza. And the Palestinian Authority sent money to Gaza because our interest was to promote the economy of Gaza, because people believed in Israel, huge mistake, that Hamas has some responsibility for the people of Gaza, and by promoting the economy, we are pushing away the plan of Hamas to attack Israel. We made a mistake. Hamas didn't care about these people. Hamas initiated the war in Israel, declared a war, and by butchering thousands, civilians, women, babies, and raping women as well.
Yeah, nobody disagrees that what Hamas did wasn't an atrocity and what they did weren't war crimes, though you have the Israeli government continually disagreeing as to what they do are war crimes.
So we decided that it is not an option anymore. We don't have any obligation towards Gaza around relating to the civilian life of these people. They can apply to Hamas. We gave them all the opportunities. Hamas decided to initiate a war against Israel. Hamas will pay the price.
Okay.
But it's not Hamas paying the price, it's the innocent civilians paying the price. Babies, kids, young teens, men and women that are innocent, they're paying the price. This dude is such a psychopath.
I wanted you to finish before I offered this correction. Under international law, Israel actually does have a responsibility and a duty to the Gazan citizens. Do you disagree with that?
Yes, I disagree, because we are not conquering Gaza. We took in 2006 all the Israelis out of Gaza. No one soldier in Gaza, no one civilian in Gaza, no Israeli is
Who controls the border?
Okay, there are no Israelis in Gaza. What about all the Israeli settlers that are killing innocent Palestinians, being funded and protected by the Israeli government? What a liar.
Of Gaza. Who controls the border of Gaza?
Egypt.
You're talking about the Rafah border. What I'm saying is that Israel controls or border. Basically, Israel has redeployed its troops in 2006 from inside of Gaza to the periphery of Gaza. Israel controls what goes into Gaza and what comes out of Gaza. Israel controls the population registry. Israel controls the flow of people and the flow of money. Israel controls Gaza by land, air, and sea. Is anything that I just said untrue?
What the Israeli government has created is a giant ghetto for the Gazan civilians so that they can make here to kill off the Palestinians.
Yes,
Which part?
everything that you said is not true. Palestinians
Israel
can
does not
go
control the
through-
population registry of Gaza?
No,
Israel doesn't control the flow of goods in and out of Gaza?
no.
Israel does not have any military presence on the border of Gaza.
Between Israel and Gaza, but not between Gaza and Egypt. They can.
But he wasn't asking about Gaza and Egypt, but Gaza and Israel. So this guy is constantly trying to deflect and lie about everything that he can, and it's not working because everybody can see the truth of what's going on.
move through Egypt whenever they want. Whatever they want, they can bring.
Okay,
You can go. It's very easy. You take a car. You go through Rafah. You go to Cairo, and you take a plane, and you go to Europe. We don't stop them.
Okay, sir, I think the international community will be surprised when they hear your words saying that Israel does not control, again, the borders, the population registry, the electromagnetic sphere, every part of Gaza. But that's up for...
Yeah, it's wild how there's like the Israeli government is continually lying and their spokespeople are just continually lying about everything. And anybody can check the facts and see that they're lying about everything that they can.
for the international community to decide when they watch this interview. Let me take you...
But you don't need it. It's a fact on the ground. If someone from Gaza wants to go out, they can go to Rafah. If the Egyptians will let them, I don't know if the Egyptians will let them, but it's not in Israel. It's not in Israel.
Respectfully, sir, that's a straw man. No one is disputing that Egypt has control over the Rafah border. What was at issue here was whether or not in 2006 Israel left Gaza or whether they simply redeployed their troops in such a way that they still control, again, the flow of goods, the flow of people, the electromagnetic sphere, the population registry. Every part of Gazan life is still functionally controlled and occupied by Israel, which is why the international community and international law suggests that Israel still maintains effective control over Gaza. But we can agree to disagree. I want to move on to another question here. If Israel does succeed in its aim of dismantling, or as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, eliminating Hamas, what will happen next in Gaza?
I like that he didn't let him continue on and he just spoke over him. Too many hosts allow their guests to speak over them, trying to peddle some kind of BS when it's the guest should be more respectful of the host and let the host speak.
First of all, I think that you don't give your audience the real situation on the ground. The real situation on the ground is Israel does not control what's coming in and out from Egypt into the Gaza Strip. The border between Gaza and Egypt is controlled by Egypt, not by Israel. With all due respect,
But Egypt doesn't occupy...
Well, yeah, obvious that the Israeli government controls Egypt.
Egypt doesn't occupy Gaza. Egypt hasn't had control of Gaza in 5 decades.
We don't occupy Gaza as well. We don't control anything inside Gaza. We are not in Gaza. If you see a situation of 500 kilometers of tunnels under Gaza, if we were in, I mean, ridiculous story you tell here. You believe that we would have allowed Hamas to build its military capability if we were in Gaza? It's nonsense, with all due respect.
Again, I'm not disputing that you're in Gaza. I'm asserting that you redeployed troops from in Gaza in 2005 at the end of the year to the border. And you control it effectively by controlling what goes in and out. So I agree with you that you're not in Gaza. The point is, it's an effective control by how you manage the perimeter. But again, we can agree to disagree on that. The world can make its own determination. This is an empirical matter.
No, we are not controlling the perimeter of Gaza when it is coming to the border between Gaza and Egypt. We are controlling the border between Israel and Gaza, but not between.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. You're controlling the border of Gaza, but he wants to continually harp on about the Israeli government doesn't have any control over the borders of Egypt. Obviously, you don't have the control over the borders of Egypt, but it's funny how he's admitting to the facts while still trying to argue against it.
Gaza and Egypt.
Sir, if we were to pull out a map, you will understand that the majority of you will understand that the bulk of the border is not with Rafah, is not with Egypt. The bulk of the border that Gazans engage is where? With Israel. That's number one. And number two, Egypt does not assert military and governmental control over Gaza. Not in 5 decades. So again, to pretend that somehow you're not responsible for what happens to Gaza when you continue to maintain effective control as per every human rights organization, as per international law. We see that this is an obvious fact, and you seem to be denying it. But we don't have to agree on this fact. I'd like to move on so that I can get an answer to my question, which was...
No, I don't want to move on. No, I'm not going to move on.
Well, sir, I can't... Sir,
Because you are lying. No, you are lying. You know...
The only person lying here is this former Israeli general. It is obvious, and he is getting upset that he's getting caught in this.
That is fine, sir. Sir, let's move on to another question.
No, I don't move to another question.
Fine. You don't have... Sir, I respect that. Sir.
Admit the border between Israel and Gaza is not controlled by Egypt and Gaza.
I understand you've made your point, sir. Sir, you made your point. Sir, you've made your point. If you're saying that you're not willing to move on unless I agree with you that Israel doesn't control Gaza, then we can't continue because that's not a fact, and I refuse to acknowledge something that's not
Israel
true.
Israel is not controlling Gaza. Israel is not.
You've
made your point. Are you willing to move to?
But he just admitted that the Israeli government controls the borders of Gaza and not the borders of Egypt. So him then lying and claiming that the Israeli government doesn't control the borders of Gaza is an obvious lie.
To another question, or are you willing to move to another question?
Yes.
Okay.
You just admit that Israel is not controlling Gaza, then you can go on.
Okay, well, I'm not. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So, sir. Understood. So, sir, I'm not going to admit